and welcome to Community Talk number 30. My name is Colson, and I will be your host today. We have an exciting agenda today, as always, filled with amazing community updates and some wonderful segments. We have a lot of segments today, and those include ETH India, ETH Istanbul, the Graph on Campus, and the Graph Advocates Program updates. Before we get into these segments, I would like to share some community updates with you. The Graph recently held 7 events to celebrate the third birthday this last weekend. Those events were held in Buenos Aires, Lagos, London, Montreal, New Delhi, San Francisco, and in Tokyo. And in my presentation at the end of the meeting today, I will also share some pictures from those occasions and share some more insights about them. Additionally, the graph is in the next stage of the roadmap, which is the Sunray phase, and we will share a Twitter thread about it in the comments here, so you guys can look it up, and we will also share all of the links in the description of the video. Before we go on with the other community updates, I would like to start off with a segment about ETH India, which happened on the 8th to the 10th of December. It was a massive event with a lot of side events. The Graph advocates and a lot of core developers attended the event and participated in many of the events. And today I will be inviting Swayam, who's a Graph advocate, to talk about their experience. And to do that, I will also share a presentation. So if you give me 1 second, Swayam will take over for me.
Yes, thank you, Colson. Waiting for presentation to be visible.
Yeah, I think this should work now.
Yeah,
Amazing. Cool. Go ahead.
yeah. So we hosted a side event at ETH India and it was a resounding success, bringing together innovators and enthusiasts to explore the latest developments in Ethereum, in the graph space particularly, and how we guys are developing our ecosystem, how the graph is helping new builders and new Web2 experience joiners to get inside the Web3 community and help the graph to form a great community and help development and all. The engaging discussion and insightful presentation and vibrant networking made it an unforgettable and experience event. Um, Also, I invited Charchit, the community manager of the Graph India, to host this event. So we had around about 70 participants who having 2+ years of Web2 development experience and some newbies in Web3 who wanted to explore what is the graph and all. This event was co-hosted with the Connect, which is a social platform, and we also invited some other protocols. And that's all from my side. Thank you, Colson.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And maybe sometimes this happens, Charchit comes in a bit later and he could share some more about the experience. But what I've heard for the other core developers and the other advocates is that they had a lot of fun at the event as well. So, yeah, overall, a great success. Before we get into the second segment, which will be a really cool one, I would like to bring some attention to all the new episodes of the GRT IQ podcast. We have episode 144 with Anirudh Patel, who is senior research scientist at the Semiotic Labs. We had 145 with Stake Machine, the founder, or with Slava, the founder of Stake Machine, which is an indexer at the Graph, one of the OGs. We had 146 with Anthony Zhang, who's community manager at the foundation with a specific focus of nurturing and expanding the graph in Asia. And we had 147 with Mujtaba Idris, who is the blockchain solutions architect at Deutsche Telekom, and since the last wave, also a graph advocate. So a really cool guy, and all of these people are really nice. So if you haven't checked them out yet, I would recommend checking out all of these GRTIQ podcasts. Our second speaker will be Emir, who was a winner at the ETH Istanbul hackathon with the project zkmap. Emir, I looked up the project and everything looks very technical and way too complicated for me. So I'm hoping that you can tell us about it and yeah, tell us what you did.
Can I start now or?
Yes, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You're
So there's a problem with some of the libraries, so I can't show live demo, but I will explain the project on recorded demo on ETH Global showcase. Can you see the website?
Yep, we can. Amazing.
Okay, project name is zkmap. It's basically a proof of location system. So let me, yeah. The current problem with location system is you have to reveal your exact location. For example, for recommendation system, you have to give your home address, but you don't have to give it all location. You can only prove you are in a city or you are in a country to still get that service. For example, recommendation system, or uh, you there's lots of spoofing way to create wrong location. So we make assumption that it's a trusted hardware. So we built the project top of this assumption. Yeah. Let me, yeah, okay. This is our architecture. We use Noir for zero knowledge circuit part, and this user are creating proof of their location, then send that transaction to our solid code, and subgraph is lying between proof layer and application layer. So any application can use this subgraph, and they can build a new application that needs a location system. So we built also an example push group chat. Let me show you in the next minute. Okay. So what are the use cases of proof of location? So you can create location specific chat groups. For example, let's say you want to create a group with people, only people attended last 3 dev connects, for example, or you can create a pop NFTs. Currently, you have to scan NFC device every single stand, so you can only prove that you were in that event. Then you can mint all of the pop with only one proof. Or, for example, USA doesn't allow their citizens to join launchpads, so you don't have to reveal your location to launchpads. You can only prove that you are not in USA. So let's move on. Okay, this is our proof application. So currently there is no proof in map. You can see all proof on this tab. So let's say you want to join Istanbul chat. I can, it's bottom of the screen. There's a button that join Istanbul chat. So let's say you want to join it. Okay, without proof you cannot join because you don't have any proof that you were in Istanbul in that in between that timestamps. So you cannot join that group now. But there's a QR code on here. It contains the area points. So if you scan that QR code with your mobile application, let me show you here. It start proving that you are in this border. QR code contains that location of that 4 points. So proving takes approximately 1 minute. And once you have the proof, you can send that proof to the chain. After you created proof, and if you try now, you will able to join that group. And after refresh the website, now you can see a group chat that only consists people that were in Istanbul between current timestamps. And you can also create any arbitrary group by selecting points on map. Yeah, that's our project. Do you have any question? Maybe.
Nice. That's really cool. I see some people typing in the chat, so we'll wait for a second. That was a very clear explanation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I see some people typing still, so let's see if there are some questions. Some of the graph advocates are typing.
And we also won the push prize and scroll prize on ETH Global Istanbul.
Amazing. There are still people typing, so I would recommend that if they have any questions, you can answer them in the chat room so we can go on to the next presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thanks
much for coming
time.
on. As I said before, sometimes Churchit comes in a bit later, so I see that he is here. Churchit, we had a segment about ETH India, and I'm wondering if you have anything to tell us about it.
Hello everyone. It's really nice to see you again. So like ETH India went amazing. This time we had 66 projects and what I observed there at the booth that most of there were many new faces and most of them are advocates only. So like we onboarded many high quality advocates and out of them many created projects in the ETH India. And apart from that, like I got feedback from our judges, Builder House members, and like their feedback was like from last year, this time we got more quality projects, and this time it was like better in quality and usability both. And also we arranged swags for the ETH India, and uh, many people loved our swag. So in our swags, basically we had the T-shirt, we have the tote bag, cup, and the boxes. And apart from the ETH India, I was also invited to speak in one of the side event. So would like to share you my screen to share some glimpse of the pictures. And here we go. Like so, yeah. So we I got the opportunity to like present uh, in this side event co-sponsored by Connect, and like here you can see we have the Graph India here. So in our presentation we basically talk about why what's the first thing is like why do we need web3, like what's the main motive of decentralization. Then we talk about self actualization before contributing to web3, and then later we move towards open market of data, how subgraph can help. Not only subgraph, now firehose and stream substream are coming. And like this is the basic info about ETH India. And like it was really great. Crowd has like improved a lot from the last year. Actually, not crowd. Community has improved a lot. They have moved forward towards more technical understanding of blockchain and making projects. And apart from that, just want to share you guys about a birthday party too. So we organized a birthday party in New Delhi, and many people from other states also joined there. So we have this the Graph Network birthday party, and like it was really good event, and like many people now really know about what is the Graph and Graph India within India. And like trust me, from the next year, like we are focusing more towards moving forward, pushing the community towards more technical and bringing more projects. And apart from like just being a developer, we are also like improving or introspecting on ourselves, how we can get general people into a community, participate in the governance. Of course, it will still require some technical knowledge, but we will try to help people to come on board, take part in the governance by like providing them video content in both Hindi and English. So this was about like complete about like this is what we planned in the month of December alone. And yes, like in the next 15 days, me and my team is going to self introspect upon our actions, what could become better, what we can improve, and that's it. Like we are really thankful for your support, like Builders DAO support, our DevRel team support, Advocates team support, Graph Foundation support, and like there were many people out there like who were like their support was not in the front. They were constantly guiding and supporting us from behind the scene. So thank you to the invisible heroes also. So this was the update just alone in the month of December. And if we talk from the starting of this project from 1st of July to uh, till today date, we organized more than 17 IRL events, and it like I it will not, from my point of view, I'm not over exaggerating, but this is the best ROI of any grant which taken from the Graph Advocate stuff within India. So like I'm really confident in that. Yeah.
Amazing. Chachi, thank you so much for that update. And I think I'm speaking for everybody that we would like to thank you. And we're hoping for some more good updates in January, of course. So hopefully we can invite you back then.
Yeah, thank you so much. I will surely improve the technical content within the event, and like we will do more self introspection. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Before we get into the next segment, I have some more community updates for you guys. The core devs have released their monthly updates, and we will be sharing the links to the forum with you. We have the links for the Edgenode update, the Guild update from Pinax, Missouri, Semiotic Labs, GraphOps, Geo, and Streaming Fast. And we will be sharing those links with you in the chat so you can check them out. We also have the core developer call Twitter link post, so we can link that to you as well, in which you can see the monthly core dev update from last month. And we also have some advocate contribution spotlights. We had 8 graph advocates help out at Datapalooza in Istanbul. And I also want to give a shout out to a graph advocate, Ami, who is actually in the audience right now for creating a lot of cool content. So I'm wondering if Amy wants to say something about it, and if maybe she needs speaking rights, so maybe we can get that happen. I mean, if you want to say something about them, you can leave a comment in the chat. Before we go to that, I would like to go to Lorena really quick because she hosted the birthday party in Buenos Aires, and I heard it was really cool. So I'm hoping that Lorena can share some stuff about that birthday party.
Hello. Well, thank you, Colson. Yes, yesterday we have the third birthday party in Buenos Aires. We have very important speaker. We have Juan Rodriguez de Fao from GraphOps. We have Tomás Migone and Miguel de Armas from HNO talking about the roadmap of the graph roadmap for next year. And in addition of that, we have a second panel talking about the future of Web3 with Luciano from Wonderland, Santiago Paladino from the Graph Council, and Mariano Conti, ex maker. So talking about that was an incredible panels, and we already have recorded the panels. So I hope in this week I can share with you. And in addition to that, we have, I don't know, more than 80, I don't know, 80, 85, 90 people very interested in the panel. So it's very important for the ecosystem to have presence in the in talking about the roadmap, talking about the news, because yesterday was a new phase of the new era, the graph new era. So the panel talk about that, and people is very interested in that. So yes, it's a good opportunity to talk with the community face to face. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think I can share some about the London one. So I attended with together with Slim Chance and with Graph Advocate Andrea. It was a lot of fun. Abel hosted it. Abel that hosts Indexer office hours as well. So obviously he did an amazing job hosting that in real life too. I think there were about 90 people there in total at the start, and at the end, a lot of people stayed to network and talk about the graph as well. We had two presentations, one of them who I will also do here today about the Graph Advocates program, and Abel did a very cool presentation about the evolvements in the graph ecosystem. So overall, it was really cool, really nice venue. There will be a picture in my presentation as well, so I can share it with you. Yeah, and there were a lot of people from Ethereum London and a lot of other like local hacker groups and community groups, co-working spaces that were there. So a lot of interesting people to talk to, not necessarily a lot of graph advocates or core developers, although there were a few, obviously, a few people from Edge and Node as well. But mostly it was people that were already in existing Web3 communities there that we connected with the graph now. So it was very interesting. And that's it for now. I will do another little talk about the Graph Advocates program later. But first, I would like to invite Marcus to talk about the graph on campus if he is ready. I just saw him join. Maybe very quickly to call him out, but are you there, Marcus?
Hey, Colson, how's it going? Yes, I
Hey,
am
good.
ready. All right,
Great.
so I'll
Well,
take
go ahead.
over. Yeah, so I'll get right into it. Hi, everybody. My name is Marcus. I work at Edge and Node. I do developer relations and developer success. Basically, my job is to make developers as happy as possible. And so, a big part of that is interfacing with them at whatever medium they prefer. Let's say they want to meet in person. Let's say they want to have a Discord chat. Let's say they're at a hackathon. It's my job to get out there and really just support their journey. So a few months back, the Graph Foundation started a push called the Graph on Campus. And I'm here just to talk about that today. I was a part of that, and I'm just going to share my screen if that's okay. Let's see here. Let's go live. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yay.
I can see
Yep.
the Discord. I'm not sure if that's what you're trying to share. Ah, yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Nice.
There we go. All right, so I'll keep this short and sweet. Overall, first off, the logo here, Graph on Campus, very, very pretty. This is what I did for two events of the Graph on Campus. And uh, as a part of getting this set up, a huge thank you to Reem. If any of you out there have not yet heard of Reem, she's a legend within the Graph Foundation. She's on GRT IQ Podcast, episode 20, and those of you who are listening to GRT IQ Podcast know there's many, many more episodes out there. I think we're over, what's the number right now? I think 140 at point.
147, I think.
Yeah, 147. So Reem is an OG. So she did a lot of work setting this up. Thank you so much to Reem for setting this up. And let's talk a little bit about how the Graph pushed into this initially. The Graph Foundation announced this early in 2023. And it was planned to be at 30 plus campuses. I think at the end it ended up being over 40 total campuses all over the world, Central America, South America, Europe, Asia. So we're seeing some of these on the list right here. Really, really impressive push where this announcement happened and then Reem just hustled to get this all set up. And it was really incredible. I got to be part of the University of Michigan campus tour, as well as the University of Georgia Tech. And here are some of the photos from that event where I got to interface with college developers. I'm the old guy without the hair over there. And these were the college kids, 18, 19-year-old kids who were just really excited. They love pizza, as college kids and pizza are pretty much the peanut butter and jelly of things. And just being able to be in front of these developers and educate about the graph was a big deal. So um, really, really engaged, incredible event where we went over a high level to medium level overview of the graph, kind of understanding the graph as a whole. And then from there went into actually building subgraphs and querying subgraphs. And really, there was a lot that I learned from this. These are my perspectives from from these two events that I went to. What was different about the Graph Campus Tour? There's a few things that were different about the Graph Campus Tour because my job is really to go to hackathons and also create workshops and online presentations. But when you're in front of these college kids, and specifically on the Graph Campus Tour, I was there for hours, 4 or 5 hours, just talking with these kids, 30, 40 kids, and really engaging at a way that was just more supportive of the complexities of Web3 as a whole and also just the graph as a whole. Made it much more easy to connect. When you're at these hackathons, you only have 30 minutes for a workshop and everyone's hair is on fire and everyone's just trying to just hustle. And to be able to just take some time and really think alongside with these college kids was super, super helpful. It was just easier to tell the story of Web3 and the graph and just eventually onboard because eventually in these graph campus tours, there was a hackathon at the end. There was an online hackathon at the end where builders were able to just apply their projects and their knowledge and then from there see if they can get some prizes. So yeah, pizza was great too. This really was important. I found it was super important for many reasons where after almost a year now of interfacing at hackathons that are time-based and super intense and short-term, um, just to have a different format of outreach and education that is truly in a classroom, because both of the presentations I did were in a classroom. They were at really, really engaged college students in a classroom environment that lasted for 4 hours. It was really, really nice because for me, as an educator, I had the best gift, which was time. I was able to take the time and really provide better quality than something that's I think also very good quality in those more short workshops. It's just fast. And if anything is missed, you just can't hesitate. You got to keep going. And this allowed every stone to really be overturned and looked at and then just more connection. It was very helpful. And if we're going to have, this type of outreach, we got to eventually convert this to onboarding. So we're really looking forward to these hackathon participants. And so really had some good projects submitted from these hackathons as well. And really having this onboarding, just kind of really just planting the seed, if you will, because these are all computer science majors. Also, there was some financial and business majors in there. So it was a blend of computer science and financial. Just kind of planting the seed was really, really different than a lot of these ETH Global hackathons or these Ethereum events where you have many times seasoned builders who have been to dozens of hackathons specific in the crypto space. And they know exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And they're really, getting better, which I do want to support too. This was just different, where you had people who just didn't fully understand Web3, were already in computer science or financial classes and wanted to just ask questions. And that's where I found it was really important. So in the end, I learned that these kids really want to learn about Web3 development, specific to the development, as well as the financial aspects of it. As I said, there's some business people in there and some financial people in there. And as soon as they had that avenue to engage, they did. They were asking good questions. They were wanting to know how to use the stack and how to build within other stacks and how to fit the graph in and what that means and what is decentralization. So I think it was a fantastic push for the first year of the Graph Foundation, the Graph on Campus. I really think it's important that Web3 and crypto, if it's not, I know there's many colleges out there that are having Web3 courses. In terms of the computer science courses, I'm not sure about the financial classes. I haven't looked into the financial classes, but I do know that Web3 classes are in a lot of different universities. I think to go to these universities that don't have that and go to the blockchain clubs is a real big deal. So from my two events that I went to in Michigan as well as at Georgia Tech, I really think it was worthwhile, and I look forward to next year's the Graph on Campus. I hope it will be announced and hope we keep on pushing into that. I think it's very valuable. So if there's anyone here that has any questions, I'm happy to share. But really, that was kind of the quick takeaway of of that and how really beneficial it was just for the 2 events I went to, as well as I think over 40 in the end, all went in that same vein. So yeah, that was this year's the Graph Foundation, the Graph on Campus.
Thank you so much, Marcus. And I see people typing, but I think mostly it's not questions. It's everybody giving you a thumbs up and saying that it's really cool to see this initiative. So I'm also hoping that we can continue this one next year.
Yeah, very much so. Yes, and that was Jorge. He was teaching with me in Michigan. He was great. So got to know him, and yeah, really a great time.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marcus. And whenever you're doing something cool again, please let us know so we can invite you to talk about it.
Yeah, will do.
All right, guys. As our last segment for today, I will be doing a presentation on the Graph Advocates program. But before I start, I would like to say that we will be giving out poll-ups again. So I believe Lorena will reach out to you guys with the link to the poll-up. And if that's wrong, Lorena, please correct me in the chat room. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the Graph Advocates program and about all of the stuff that we did in 2023. So let's get started. So earlier last year, I believe in the beginning of the year, this blog post was released by the Graph Foundation on the website, and it announced the launch of the Graph Advocates program to grow the community of Web3 contributors. So while that was happening, this was also put on our website that the Graph Advocates would be a community-led and community-driven initiative serving as a portal into Web3 for people all across the world. And I believe we got that done really well. And the way I try to explain is that we are supporting the Graph ecosystem by a variety of community building efforts. So that's how it is now. But how did that get started? So initially, members of the community that were very active and were already helping out other people were contacted by the Graph Foundation and eventually onboarded to start as the initial cohort of Graph Advocates DAO. Then that team created their own onboarding process and we started onboarding the new Graph Advocates. And that program has started almost 2 years. And where are we at now? So the total numbers I will show you on the next slide, but this slide is about the numbers in 2023. So we've become very much globally diverse. We had an increase of 120 plus Graph Advocates from India, Africa, and South America in the last 12 months. And those regions now account for 45% of the total, with the others being in Europe and North America. So I think the global diversity has increased a lot since last year. And looking up the stats, I thought it was very cool to see. And from all of those new advocates, there was a very big diversity in professions. We had builders, usually from the hackathons, developers, and also a lot of students. We also saw that a lot more core developers from Europe and the United States have joined the program as Graph Advocates, mostly engaging in community care and content creation while also helping out at events. So, and also a lot of technical teachers because usually the core developers are a bit more technical. So in total, we now have over 400 Graph Advocates, and all of these markers that you can see on this map is a location where one of the Graph Advocates lives. So you can see that there are some concentrations, mostly around in India and Nigeria, but that in a lot of other countries, we have multiple advocates. So whenever there's an event happening anywhere around the world, we can usually send some of the Graph Advocates to attend and hopefully help out at the event. So what do all of these Graph Advocates do? They engage in one of these 5 roles or multiple if they are really active. So we have the event evangelists, the content creators, the text translators, the community care Graph Advocates, and the technical teachers. And I will now go over those roles and show you some statistics of last year. So the event evangelists host local events, attend regional events, and participate in online or in-person community events. So in 2023, the total number, now including the birthday events, is over 200 online or in-person events. And those contributions could be workshops, presentations, AMAs, side events, meetups, hackathons, helping out at the Graph booth, or joining panel discussions. And any of these roles the advocates contribute in. The in-person event evangelist contributions took place in 21 different countries around the world and had over 3,000 attendees. And the number of participants in the talks or the presentation, so the listeners were over 2,500 by the end of the year. So very big reach. And this is one of the reasons that the Graph Advocates program has grown so much, because there was so much outreach from the event evangelists that are contributing to the program. Then we had the content creators who create content about Web3 or about the graph, and about the graph, I should say, including articles, videos, infographics, memes, or GIFs. And in the year 2023, we approved more than 250 contributions in the content creation role from Graph Advocates, mostly about the graph and some others that were more generally about Web3. You can see some examples of the tweets that we approved here. And on the next slide, I will show you some more examples. So we have this very cool Graph Advocate Spotlight that was released every month, I believe, by Kyle, who is one of the Graph Advocates. As the Graph community is very complex and very diverse, it's very hard for people, especially people that are not full-time or that are just checking out the protocol, to be updated and keep updated about everything that happens in the ecosystem. And this Graph Advocate Spotlight helped out a lot because there were community roundups, so basically everything that happened in and around the ecosystem, contributions, spotlight case from Graph Advocates, and sometimes also interviews with the Graph Advocates, so everybody could get them to know them a bit better. We also had the subgraph signal from the same Graph Advocate called Kyle, who was doing a lot of highlights on new subgraphs. And then we had also some memes that were released this year or created and posted. Of course, as I said, there were 250 more contributions, and I'm not going to show all of them because that would take a very long time, but there was a lot of content made this year. Then the text translators, which I think is a very, very interesting role and played a big part in the growth of the ecosystem, or at least the Advocates program. They translate the graph and other community documentation, blogs, social posts into a specific language that is local to any region. So in the year 2023, over 2.5 million words were translated and then also proofread by other Graph Advocates to make sure that the quality was correct. That equated to over more than 500,000 hours of work. And I think the main contribution that's very visible for everyone is the official translation of the Graph website and the documentation, which is now available in multiple languages thanks to the efforts of Graph Advocates. Then also translation of those newsletters I just showed you, and translation of a lot of technical reports and tutorials. So now people that may not speak the English language very well can also get involved and get started and be updated about the graph. Then we have the community care advocates who are always in all of the chat rooms, seeing if anybody needs help and them helping them out or finding help for them. They post answers to questions and share educational resources in the Graph forum, the Telegram, or the Reddit. These are a little bit more difficult to show because they're just loose messages in all of the Discord servers. But if you count them up, it's a very big number. We asked the Graph Advocates to do a report on their own contributions once a month, and in total, over 100 contribution forms were filled out. So you can think of how many advocates are constantly helping in all of the chat rooms. And yeah, you've probably seen some names pop up from the Graph Advocates that are helping out people, especially in the main this Graph protocol Discord server and also on the Reddit. I see them around a lot, so you've probably seen them around. Then the last one, we have the technical teachers who teach others to how to actively participate and contribute in Web3 and around the Graph ecosystem. Where I've seen this one work out the most is at the hackathons and at the in real life events, where some of the technical teachers just sit with somebody with their laptop and show them in real time how to build subgraphs or how to fix their issues. So this was a very cool role from an educational standpoint to see. And I hope that we can see many, many more of these in the next year. So as I said, these are all community building efforts, and I would like to talk about what's next. Hopefully, we onboard more and more Graph Advocates next year, so we can see all these local communities develop and grow. We've seen that happening this year in a couple of countries, and I hope that we can do that in many, many more countries. So we have some local groups and some local teams that can help out at events in any specific language. off, I would like to say that working with all of these graph advocates, being involved with most of the review processes of all of the contribution forms from all of those contributions, it really showed me how big the advocates program is and how amazing and unique and wonderful all of these graph advocates are, showcased once again by all of these cool birthday parties that were mostly hosted or by graph advocates or other graph advocates that helped out at the events. So what I would like to do to close out this community talk and close out this year for us, showcase the pictures of those events and see how many people were involved and how many great events happened in one weekend around the world. And October, I will come to your question later, but maybe somebody can already answer you in chat. So we had Chidubem hosting the event in Lagos, Nigeria. There were a lot of people there, as you can see. Then we had Abel, who was hosting the event in London. And if you look very closely, you can find me something here, somewhere in this picture, but I'm not going to show you where. Then we had the Graph Pakistan hosting a event in Pakistan this weekend. We had the Graph in Tokyo hosting an event. I forgot the name of the host, but I think it was Takashi. And then we had the graph in New Delhi. We just showed this at the start of this event already. And Lorena, unfortunately, I couldn't find a picture from your event, so I'm sorry. But we also had a great event in San Francisco, and I believe in Montreal and in Buenos Aires. So I'm hoping that next year this will continue the way it did now, and that we can onboard more and more people to do high quality contributions to support the Graph ecosystem. So that was my presentation for today about the Graph Advocates Program. And before we end the call, I would like to remind everyone that later on today, in about 70 minutes from now, we have the last community talk of this year. And I also remind you, sorry, not the community talk, the Indexer office hours, of course. And also don't forget to check the monthly core developer updates on the forum, which we just shared with you. I would like to thank everybody for joining this episode of Community Talk, and we will now open up the floor for Q&A. If we have no further questions, I wish everybody a great day, happy holidays, and I will be glad to host you guys again in January. So thank you so much, everyone.